Remember when lunchboxes were metal, TV had only 3 channels, and when the future meant bright chrome and rocket ships? Welcome to the Rocket Kid Chronicles by David Stafford.
Chapter 3. The Babysitter at 20,000 feet. A true tale of the macabre. My mother was never one to fawn over Hollywood's glitterati. Movie stars were as exciting to her as wallpaper samples. She didn't swoon, gossip, or even blink when a famous face graced the silver screen. That is, until one name entered the conversation. When this man was mentioned, she transformed. Her whole manner softened, as if someone had switched on a warm light. She leaned in closer, eyes beaming like a child on Christmas morning, and offered unprompted praise. Her attitude toward this one man felt unexpected and slightly disconcerting. It was like discovering my dentist moonlighted as a jazz musician. Years passed before I finally asked her about this singular fascination, and so she entertained me with a story that proved both ordinary and extraordinary. I'm still not sure I believe it. Before North Hollywood beckoned, my father briefly flirted with Las Vegas. He took a solo trip to scout for business opportunities while my mother and I stayed behind. If Dad thought Las Vegas might be worth a move, Mom would catch a flight and join him. That decision came, and a ticket was booked. Air travel was quite an affair in 1958. Men always wore suits, while women arrived in dresses, gloves, and hairstyles that appeared to defy gravity. My mother, looking sharp yet completely exhausted by the demands of newborn life, boarded the DC-6 with weary eyes and a tiny, purple, lung-bursting engine of discontent. The cabin was spacious and serene, with roomy seats and stewardesses whose smiles were friendly and authentic. Yet throughout the flight, I screeched like a banshee. My mother, staggered by the sheer, bone-dissolving exhaustion that only a newborn can provide, dozed off while feeding me, nearly dropping me into the aisle in a fog of fatigue. The other passengers noticed. Some stared, some sighed, and a few even whispered. A man appeared, as if plucked from a Hollywood script, improbably tall, clad in a sharp black suit with the posture of elite training and a voice aged in an oak barrel and buffed with fine silk. A charismatic smile graced his face, a face that was oddly familiar. My mother tried not to stare for fear of being rude. With courtly gentleness, he offered to take the screaming bundle off her hands so she might catch a few minutes of blessed, unconscious peace. Stunned yet desperate, she accepted. Exhaustion can build trust in an instant. He carried me toward the forward cabin, where the ride was smoother. Passengers turned as he passed, glancing twice as if trying to solve a riddle. He settled in gracefully, cradling me with tenderness and angling my bottle just right, as though I were a precious relic. Nothing about him seemed rushed. He didn't shush me when I fussed. He spoke softly instead, his voice low and calm. It was a soothing voice, the kind that seizes attention without raising its volume. As if the scene had been scripted as a musical, he began to sing. It was a quiet melody, not meant for an audience, but a tender lullaby in a steady, relaxing rhythm. The notes glided easily, enveloping me like a snug blanket. Almost instantly, my tiny, agitated brain surrendered, and I drifted into a deep slumber. After that memorable flight, Las Vegas never happened. My parents opted for North Hollywood in the end. But the echo of that journey lingered. The experience gave my mother a moment that would endure forever. And who was this man who had calmed me into slumber? My first in-flight meal had been served by none other than an icon of the macabre, a master of menace, Vincent Price. In him, my mother found kindness without pretense and patience without ulterior motives. No entourage, no fanfare, just a man who noticed a weary mother and a wailing baby and stepped in without a second thought, in a simple act of decency. That moment changed her perception of celebrities. Now she understood the stark difference between image and reality. Whenever his name surfaced, she recalled not the legendary figure on screen, but the kind soul on that flight. The story sparks curiosity. It's tempting to believe something intangible was exchanged that day, a feeling of calm, an appreciation for soothing voices, a comfort with the peculiar. That early solace came from a man celebrated for his theatrical flair, whose voice could be both warm and sinister, whose gentleness coexisted with his flair for the bizarre. I had been cradled by the man whose face I would one day recognize as the abominable Dr. Phibes. It feels like the makings of an origin story, doesn't it?
Stay tuned for more of The Rocket Kid Chronicles.
Up next, settling in LA's backyard.